sandhis and consonant sandhis, and we'll review some examples of nakara changing to nathum. Then we will do the similar one for sakara changing to shatvam. And that will do a little bit. Depending upon the time, I will spend few minutes in conversational Sanskrit, in the sense of telling people, my name is so-and-so, I live in so-and-so, this is my job. Just only, I will get to the reason I delayed all of this is we have to do chapter 5 so that you can understand the difference between the masculine, feminine, and neuter genders. Because when you ask a lady her name, or man, gentleman, his name, your questioning it should be slightly different. That we'll only understand when we get to the genders. So, but today we'll continue this one. I have to open up another class, another one. Let me see, Gita Sandhi. Good, that's what I need. Did I open that? Yeah. Okay, that no. Go back to 4th chapter. Let's go back. Let me go slowly. We're getting there now, and slowly. And while I'm here, I just wanted to show you a little bit in terms of days of the week. And why is it so? Let me get to this. Okay. Typically, again, this is going to be one class on telling people what the days of the week is. 3 things you have to know: today, yesterday, day before yesterday, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and whatever you call day after something, day after tomorrow. So look at this. Today is Adya, and yesterday is Yaha.
Sir, you are not sharing, sir.
Oh, you're not sharing? Whoa. No. Sorry. Why? What happened to that? Oh, okay. Share the screen. Yeah. Thank you. Can you see this?
Yes, sir. It's coming up. Yeah,
Okay.
now it is. Now we can see it.
Do you see that big screen?
Yes, wider. Yeah.
I was afraid of that there is a one. Okay. Now, if you look through here, I'm going to take this out. If you look through here, days of the week and okay. Now, yeah, I will send you these few pages so you don't need to write it down. Today is Adya and tomorrow is Swaha. And then once you know yesterday and today, rest of them becomes, if you add para, that means after yesterday. Then pra-para is after yesterday's next day. You follow that? And the same process, adya, yesterday's hyaha, para hyaha, like paraswaha. And then this, so if you look at it, adya, guru vasaraha, and swaha, shukra vasaraha, hyaha, buddha vasaraha, para hyaha, mangala vasaraha. So the days, it is rather easy for the Telugu people. Only thing you have to know, for example, Sunday is Ravi or Bhanu Vasaraha. And Monday is Soma Vasaraha. Tuesday is Mangala Vasaraha. And Wednesday, Buddha Vasaraha. And the Thursday is Guru Vasaraha. And then Friday, Shukra Vasaraha. Saturday, Shani Vasara. The class I had this is last time. So let me add one here. Where is the I have to take this one. So if I take this one is Adya is this. And Yaha is this. And this is all black. And you will pick up very easily. Adya Guru Vasaraha. I will also tell you, give you how do you ask. And then Yaha Buddha Vasaraha. And this one has to come this way. Parahyaha Mangala Vasara. Parahyaha Soma Vasara.
Sir, are those two words or single words, sir? Buddha Vasara, Mangala Vasara.
Those are all one word.
Oh.
And the so I just broke it here so that you can see the things.
Okay.
That's all. Like a Shukra Vasaraha. Or you can say Adya Shukraha. That's the way you, as you experience, you will change things. Instead of saying Mama Nama, you can say your own name, Mama Nama, whatever name it is.
Okay.
And you can say Aham so and so. So this Aham is different from Telugu Aham, please. And we have the word Ahankari. That is a very good word actually. The Aham, the feeling is Aham Kartavyam Karanam. I am responsible for all the things, for the actions. Knowing fully well, you are not responsible. You are only instrument in the Bhagavan's hands. And in Sanskritam, we'll see again in the next, the 5th chapter, Aham means the present tense of I. Not present tense, sorry, the Pradhama Vibhakti as a subject. And so we'll go through all of that, but you don't need to worry here. Adya is today, Yaha is yesterday, Parahyaha, yesterday, day before yesterday, Parahyaha, and day before yesterday, whatever it is. Then tomorrow is Swaha. Likewise, day after tomorrow, Paraswaha. And this I have to because I was doing this. And the this I have to move it back to everything. One thing. You have to get rid of this. I can leave that there. No, we don't need this again. Layout. Okay. So this life becomes very easy for us. So basically, you need to know Adya, today, tomorrow, Swaha, Paraswaha, Praparaswaha, beyond day after tomorrow. Yaha, yesterday, Parahyaha, day before yesterday, Praparaswaha, day before yesterday, whatever we call that way. And then it becomes very easy for you to converse. When you say your name, you can say Mama Nama Rajarao Bandaru Sharmanaha. Aham Acharya. Or Aham Kushiwalaha. I'm a farmer. You can use whatever it is. And Aham, you can ask, where do you live? I will tell you all of that. And say, Bhavataha Kutra Vasati. Mahodaya, where you live. If I'm asking feminine, Bhavati Putra Vasati. Lady, where do you live? And say, Aham East Brunswick Nagare, Princeton's East Brunswick Grame, Princeton Nagare Nagara Samipe Stapayitva, East Brunswick Road Nagare Vasami. I live in East Brunswick village, which is established in the close to Princeton. The reason I use that word is people say, where is East Brunswick? But people would know, everybody knows anywhere in the world, Princeton. That is why we can say, Aham, I can say, if I go to India, I will say, Aham America Deshe, in America Desha, country, New Jersey Rashtre. Then I can say, Middlesex Namna Mandale, in the districts of Middlesex, East Brunswick Grame Vasami. And how did the Grame comes? And that we have to know that is in or on Saptami Vibhakti. We'll find out that. So that's the reason I waited for all of this. But by the time we finish chapter 5 and 6, you will have enough knowledge to question people. Where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? So that we'll have to, we'll do that. Don't worry on that. We'll pick up easily.
Sir, you said Mama Nama, Visarga. Sir, every name tarvata.
Mama Nama, you can say Usha Chandrika. Or Chandrika. And you have to, feminines do not end short R. I've been stressing that all that long.
Visarga add cheyala, sir, name tarvata.
Yama?
Do we have to add Visarga after the
Only for men, masculine.
Only for men. And some women name is Lakshmihi. That is become a custom. And you don't add that. So we'll see that the Vibhakti will derive them, no by-hearting business. I will also give you, and you can by heart, you like it. And we will derive everything. That is the, because I personally do not like by-hearting business. When you ask a feminine, Bhavatyaha Nama Kim. The moment you say Bhavatyaha, that's a feminine Sasti Vibhakti of. It's like that, of your name is what? If you translate purely. And it typically, in English, we say, what is your name? If you're asking a masculine, a man, Bhavataha Nama Kim. What do you do? Aham Chatraha. I am a Chatraha. I am a student. Or Aham Karshakaha. I am a farmer. And I will give you a list of typical jobs, and you can use whatever you like. Or you can say Aham Gruhini. I'm going to do an exception next week because you can all read Telugu. So I will take the first Padyamu of Nannaya from Mahabharata, the first Padyamu of Tikkana, and 2 or 3 Padyamuలు of Mana Potana Bhagavatam nunchi. Telugu rastano, and you will see everything there is Sanskritam. So if you understand Sanskritam, it becomes very easy for us to learn Telugu or other way around, provided that you know Telugu grammar. That is one thing. The next thing I want to tell you is what I want to tell you. I think I sent everybody Upadesha Saram, a 68-page book. PDF. Or whoever asked me.
Yeah, not everyone, right?
Somebody asked me, I send, it's a PDF copy. It has the 30 slokas, grammar for each sloka, and this meaning and commentary on the meaning. Like it says, you are not responsible for anything. You are responsible for every action you do. That is karma siddhanta. So then I took some slokas from Gita. For each sloka of the 30 slokas, except the last one, and I gave example from Gita, took the sloka from Gita. And so I will send that for everybody. It's a PDF copy, it's not complete. That's the first book I wrote in 2005. So this is a little bit patchy. And the other thing I will send you, I made a note, I think and if you don't receive by next Wednesday or next Tuesday, bug me please. I will also send you Bhaja Govindam, the text with the Padacheda, so that you can break the Padacheda and check your things correctly, if this is right. And now let's go to consonant sandhis. Let me see if one of my long-term, I knew him. He was my classmate and retired as a professor of chairman of the electrical engineering department at IIT Madras. He is in Princeton now with his daughter, and he wanted to join. So I sent him the link.
So someone joined, sir. I see Venkateshaya Chintakunta.
Oh, very good. Well, very good. Let me see where. Good evening, Venkateshaya Garu. You are there? Let me see whether he.
I think he's a mute.
Resize. I will just open this. Yes. Can you unmute yourself? If you are using the phone, use *6. That will unmute yourself. Okay. We will talk to him later. Let's go back here. Now let's. Yeah, I have few conversational things here. Like, what's my name? And what do I do? Where do I live? Simple things, not very complex.
So, sir, first line, but he said you should need a visarga after that, right? Mama Nama, Acharya Bandaru, then you should have a visarga after that?
No, that's a name.
That's exactly right. So you don't, yeah, exactly. Mama Nama Badrinath, right? That's it.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Okay.
No, if you say Badrinath, then that's a consonant ending one. There's no visarga. That's right. Like Bhagavan.
No, my name is Badrinath, right? So Mama Nama Badrinath. So I'm not Bhagavan. I'm talking myself, Badrinath. Mama Nama.
Yeah, that's right. You don't. But if the name, for example, Usha.
Yeah.
She will say Mama Nama Usha.
Usha. Okay.
Yeah. Or Madhavi, Mama Nama Madhavi.
Madhavi.
And it's up to her. Feminine nouns end with both long E and short E.
Oh,
So depending upon how she says. But there was no visarga for in the Pradhama Vibhakti. But we'll see all of them in detail.
Sure.
Let me go back, and once I get to our class notes now, and we can.
You do the prayer, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to the where is the, I have to get the consonant sandhi section. Oh, it's still in the. Okay, I'm getting there now. Okay. Let's chant our Mangala Charanam, please, with 3 Oms. Sahana Vavatu,
Sahana Vavatu,
Sahana Bhunaktu,
Sahana Bhunaktu,
Sahaviyam Karavavahai,
Sahaviryam
Karavavahai,
Karavavahai,
Tejasvinava Dhitamastu,
Tejasvinavadhitamastu,
Mavidvishavahaihi.
Mavidvishavahai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah.
Shanti.
Om Shanti,
Om Shanti.
Shanti. Harihi Om Guru Shri Gurubhyo Namah.
Saraswati Namastubhyam,
Saraswati
Namastubhyam,
Namastubhyam,
Varade Kamarupini,
Varade Kamarupini,
Vidyarambham Karishyami,
Vidyarambham
Vidyarambham
Karishyami,
Karishyami,
Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Siddhir
Siddhir
Bhavatu
Bhavatu
Me
Me
Sada.
Sada.
Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat.
Asatoma Sadgamaya,
Asatoma
Satoma
Satgamaya,
Sadgamaya,
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya,
Tamasoma
Jyotirgamaya,
Jyotirgamaya,
Mrityorma Amrudangamaya.
Mrityorma
Mrityorma.
Amrudangamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om
Now,
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
we will chant this Maheshwara Sutrani. Aivana,
Ayurveda,
Ruluk,
Ruruk,
Evom,
Evam,
Ayauch,
Ayauch,
Hayavarat,
Ayavarat,
Lan,
Lan,
Nyamananam,
Nyamananam,
Jabhai,
Jabhai,
Ghadadash,
Ghadadash,
Jabagadadash,
Jabagadash,
Ka Pa Cha Ta Ta Cha Ta Tau,
Kapa Cha 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 Tav,
Chata Tau,
Kapai,
Kapai,
Shashasar,
Shashasar,
Hal.
Hal.
Iti Maheshwara Sutrani.
Iti Maheshwara Sutra.
Okay, now what we did is the following last week. And these are the, again, I'm going to repeat this over and over again. The Kanthya, Kavarga, which can be which simply say Ku, is comprised of 5 letters. The first 2 columns are Katora or hard. The last 3 are soft or mrudu. Then out of these, there are 2 types of things, Alpa Prana and Mahaprana. You can see the way you pronounce it. It is simply Ka. This is Ka. You can feel it in your voice. This is Ga. Gha. Although those are a different pronunciation, they belong to one class, Kavarga. And as we said, when you are, let's say, in a case like Ja, we'll see that in 1 second here. Let's take the Cha Varga or palatals. Cha, Cha, Ja, Jha, Nya. And Murdhanya, where the tongue has to be bent up and say ta, tha, da, dha, na. Ta, dantya, which is your teeth. Ta, tha, da, dha, na. Pa varga or labi or ostya, you speak with your, you touch lips. Pa, tha, ba, bha, ma. Then sparsha, the sibilants. Sa, sha, sha. The sakara is the Shankara Saraswati sakara. Sha, which is like a Shakti, or the Shankara, that is the Shankara Shakara. Sha, which is like a Krishna, that is Murdhanya. These are all hard or Katora. And the semi-vowels, Yavarala, and these are Yan. You can see the our Maheshwara Sutrani. And these are semi-vowels because sometimes they behave like vowels, sometimes they behave like a consonants. That's why they're called semi-vowels. And all these consonants here, they're really not pure consonants. In order for us to pronounce, we add a vowel to that. And without pure consonants cannot be pronounced. And these differentiation between Katora and Mrudu and Nasikat, where you have to use your nose to pronounce, you have to very clear about them. Reason I'm telling you this, this comes very important for us when we are changing. An example I will tell you here. Now, here is the oh, sorry. Bhakti. We talked about three things. The basic thing is what is called dhatu. Oh, sorry. And this is you don't use dhatu at all in a real sentence. Your word, it is this a root. Then you use what is called a pratipadikam. Sorry. And no, I can't type properly once in a while. This is the raw form of or a happen here. And then you get that, you take a dhatu, change this, 1 second.
How do we distinguish, sir, which is dhatu, pratipadikam? I know some are easy to say the dhatus.
Dhatu, you can see the dhatu and very easily, but for this class you have to, until we get to the 5th chapter, you have to, dhatu is you never see in your usage.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned to you before, look at, you all studied science.
Mm.
Do you see elements in your daily life? Very rarely you see elements. Very rarely. You always see them mixed with, transformed into a compound, depending upon in what combination you mix them. Like if you mix and you identify each one as what are the electrons, and you compensate with the other things so that totally there should be equal number of electrons and things that are joined. And if you look at the periodic table as we mentioned, by the time you get to the 5th chapter, that looks like what Panini did. Panini, the Mendeleev essentially copied what Panini did in the 5th century BCE. And the Pratipadikam is the root or dhatu, and add to that a pratyaya. Sorry. And the pratyaya is something you add after the word, like you put your name and put a degrees there. It comes after the term that's taking the pratipadik, pratyaya. So for example, then you don't use this pratipadikam, you use actually a word. And this in Sanskritam we call a pada. Pada is something we use in a sentence. That is, you take the pratipadikam and add to that a vibhakti pratyaya, or we say vibhakti in English is case. And in Sanskritam, all the vibhakti pratyayas is put under one category called sup.
So for the word yogam, it's a huge plus pratyaya.
I will do that. That's what the case ending is known as ending is sup. Okay, it's sup. That is, it's a case ending. That's it's. When we see the 5th chapter, starting with, we'll give the case and we'll derive the case ending. So then you will realize Rama is pratipadikam. It's the raw form. When you use in a Pradhama Vibhakti as a subject, Dvitiya Vibhakti as an object, Tritiya Vibhakti as a karana, instrument, Chaturdhi as a sometimes used as a secondary object, or for whom the work is done. For example, mother buys milk for the baby. And that is also whenever you use namaha, you always use Chaturdhi Vibhakti, salutations unto you. And typical thing is you always say namaste. That is namaha. Te is the you in the salutations unto you. That Chaturdhi Vibhakti will derive all of them. But this is what you have to understand. We take a root. We are going to do the reverse engineering as Panini did. What we get is let's take bhakti or and from the meaning of that one is it's a devotion. And the Panini took all the words people used up to his time, what is in Veda and its Vedic four parts of each Veda, and what was in the Puranas, what was in Mahabharata, what's Ramayana. You took all of them and looked at the words and said, how could this word be derived? And he went back, he used the Rigveda, early part of Rigveda, which says, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything indeed is divine. How many, and then next line in Rigveda, or it also in the Samaveda, is Ekam Sat, the ultimate reality because of which universe exists, is Ekam one. However, Vipraha Bhauda Vadanti. Knowledgeable people explain that there are many ways to reach that. And typically, we have a English sentence, a proverb, all roads lead to Rome. And he also, I showed you a graphical layout of this 15th chapter of Gita, first sloka. Urdhvamulam adhashakam ashwadham prahuhu avyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yattam veta savedavit. If you write your lineage, like great-grandfather, and he married somebody, then you have your grandfather and his siblings, and you take your grandfather on whom he married, and then his children, then that is your parents' level, and you take your father, and then you put your siblings. And you can see although bottom one is extensive, you started with a single person. It's like a tree, reverse tree, like roots. They said urdhva moolam. The moola root is on the top. Adhas shakam. The shaka, the branch, is at the bottom. The urdhva moolam, adhas shakam, of what? Ashwatham, the tree that never dies. Prahuhu, they say avyayam, it is indestructible. So what's the big deal about this tree? Chandamsi, the Chandas in the old days is known as Veda, because Veda is the knowledge, and I showed you the 4 different, how this guy Vyasa divided them into 4 parts. And some of you remind me, I'm forgetting, I will send you 2 papers which are, one is on the organization of Vedas, and the other is the commandments of Sanatana Dharma, which is, each one is a 4 pages meant for the children, so they can understand our culture. And so the root is on the top one, and sorry, Narendra, I have answers for your question. I'm teaching a class. I will call you after 9 my time. Thank you. And so if you look at bhakti, and that's how he said these words come from this root, and this is the process he gave. If you look through the Panini grammar or some of our scriptures, particularly Rigveda, the procedure is given there. How the different things, what we see today, is derived. That's why we say, my Gotram is so and so, and you can put a lineage of that. And bhakti, which is like a worship, must come something with a root which is called bhaj, to praise. And you have to add something to that. We don't know what, and if you add something to bhaj, you get bhakti. let's see how you can, what you can do. Let's go to our Sanskrit thing, or science, and this bhakti is, you can break them into pieces. Bhaj plus ti. And somehow this jakara has to become see that? Somehow we have to make this jakara has to become kakara. Then you get bhakti. And Panini created a bunch of nouns, feminine nouns. And you looked at similar nouns like bhakti, shakti, shanti, mukti, and they all look similar. Let's look at mukti. And to mukti means to release from your samsara. So all the bondages. This, based on that, it comes from a root called mukh, to release. And we still have to put the T here. We have to add to something to this. And you get mukti, which is, it is mukh, to release, plus T. And because mukti has, if you look through, the mukti really has not mukh there. This is how it is. I can say this. Oh, sorry. I thought I copied this. And you have to add to, if you break the mukti, it is mukh plus T. And this looks similar to bhaj plus T. And shakti is similar, shanti is similar, kirti is similar. All these words are feminine, which are powerful. So what Panini said is what do we need to do for jakara to become a kakara? Here, for some reason, we have to say jakara must become kakara when followed by, we are seeing that, when followed by a hard letter. Tha is a hard letter. So then Panini said, I have to add T to that. So when bhaj has become a kakara, how does bhaj, you can't, ja cannot become a ka. Ja is a soft, mrudu, ka is a kathora. Ja can only become what? We talked about consonants, a table. What can ja become? So, and now we can say,
Ga, sir, ga.
good. We could say jakara, sorry. I can write this. must become in a typical English way. That's what the scientists, we do it in the chemistry lab. Or that is, if you go to a pharmaceutical chemistry lab, that's exactly the, if you go to this, not, what is this, a big pharmacy lab here, either Pfizer or other labs, you can see that
J&J.
J&J,
Lilly.
J&J would be Johnson and Johnson.
Johnson and Johnson, and more important, what used to be in the New Brunswick, which is moved to Princeton, next to Rutgers, BMS,
Bristol,
something like
Bristol Myers Square, sir.
Bristol Myers Squibb. Yeah, that's where I went several times to the lab, because a lot of my friends used to work there as a pharmaceutical chemist. So they see what they want to get out of that and try to break into pieces. That is what we have to see. Somehow Jakara must become Kakara. So when followed by a hard letter. Now, if you do that, let's do that. Will this work here? That one. Suppose we do that and come up with the and so this is, if you write in Sanskritam, the chu has to become ku. Chu is all the 5 letters of cha varga must become a ka varga. And if we have done 5th chapter, you will say chu is changing to ka. So, and I will give you a procedure based on what I understood studying Panini grammar, that you don't need to by heart. If you actually understand the 6 steps, you can derive everything in Panini grammar. You don't need 10 years to study the grammar. You can, in 3 years, you can do what people do in 10, 15 years. And I applied that because being a scientist, and that's what we do in lab. So translating this into proper column, it's proper language, the cha has to change to ka varga. Cha varga has to change to ka varga. So it is chohu huhu. That means the cha varga is changing to ka varga. So if you do that's the first step here. Then of course there is a second step, and when followed by kharicha, when followed by hard letter, khar letter, or we can even say jal. Jal is better one. Jalicha. When followed by jal means from jakara to hal lakara in Maheshwar Sutrani. But if you do that, this is what happens. The bhaj plus t, first step is become jakara has become a kakara, kakara. So it becomes, what does it become? Bhag, sorry, plus t. That's not sufficient for us. Somehow ga has to change to its hard form. Ga is a mrudu. It has to become a katora, which is the ka. Ja is a alpa prana. It has to become. It can only become ka. So the next is the consonant sandhi here. It is the ga changes to ka. Now it's easy now. That's how the raw forms are obtained. Now then you add the corresponding vibhakti pratyayas, depending upon whether you're using the as it is subject or object or whatever it is. I've done this several times. Do you follow that? Please. Any questions now? How to get into the pieces? Now let's look at this one here. This is, we observed it and come up to a conclusion. And let's see whether that conclusion you can apply to here. That's how the scientist becomes. They observe something in a lab under their conditions, then ask their colleague to test it. Then they will send that to other people in different countries or different labs. If all of them test it, first it is only observation. Then if all of them come up to the same idea, then it becomes a rule, a law. That's what Panini might have done it as almost it is almost 26,000 years, 100,000 years back, or 2,600 years, not 26. What is the 6th century BCE? This is the 21st century, and that is the 26th centuries back. So now let's look at the first thing is now this ha is already a Kavarga letter. So you don't need to bother to change that to a Kavarga. Chokuho, you don't need that. But now what you do is ha has to become mukti kakara.
You said ha is Kavarga, sir?
Yeah, it's those ha, sta.
Possibility, yeah.
We have the table there.
Yeah.
So ha is it's a katora. So it did, and because this is followed by a ta, so it's easy. The basic consonants and this becomes this. Ha can easily become that. That becomes muk plus chi. And this becomes mukti. And this is what you always have to do. Look at the pada. So what could be the root of that from the list of roots? And how will you remember those list of roots? Initially, it's very difficult. But gradually, that's how you develop the knowledge. We didn't know all these words in English when we were children. You pick them up gradually.
Sir, chanting Gita is helping, sir. All of us are chanting
Oh,
Gita.
chanting Gita, that's how I learned. I chanted Gita, learned Gita right from the beginning. Also, the first 100 slokas of Ramayana. These two helped me all the grammar.
We completed 12 chapters, sir, so far chanting.
Very good. So, in the 12th chapter, we have a bunch of slokas which are very powerful.
Bhakti, qualities of Bhakta.
Yeah, and one of the thing is Natad Bhasayate Surya.
That is not in 12th, sir.
No, that's 15, sorry. 15. Yeah, 15, sorry. 12th chapter is Shreyo hi gnanam abhyasat, gnanat dhyanam vishishyate, dhyanat karma pala tyagaha, tyaga shantiranantaram. So there are some important slokas in each chapter, you take them out, and if you understand them, you understand the entire Gita.
Sir, I mean, we still need to remember these tables and those kind of things, right? I mean, it's not that we don't need to remember the tables, those kind of, we have to remember them, right?
I don't want you to remember. You
Uh-huh.
understand gradually, and you will remember. A lot of things I don't remember now, but suddenly when I see this, it comes to my mind. It's like when I get up when I want to go to, say, Costco, I don't keep on drawing the map to go there.
Yeah, because you've been to Costco 100 times, right? But
Yeah, that is what happens. You read Gita, and for example, you have done last week how Nakara changes. Nakara changes to Natvam. We saw that last week. What are the conditions?
Yeah.
Then condition is this. When, sorry. No, in the about it. In the same word, samana pade, that means samana pade, in the same word, in samana pade.
Sir, by any chance, is there a Telugu version of Panini Sutras with some examples and things like that, sir?
There is, but if you look at the book you have, which I gave you everybody, part 1,
Yeah.
and I have a Telugu grammar book, and that's very difficult to read because we have not studied that way. It's easy for me to look at Sanskrit grammar and understand, unfortunately, because our teachers did not say that way Telugu grammar. So in the same word, sorry.
So how did you increase your vocabulary, sir? Learn just like this, reading.
You read Gita a lot and Ramayana. I was reading the Mahabharata because I took the Vyasa Mahabharata. And what happened was, during the COVID time or before that, I was at UPenn. I was a Telugu professor, along with being a Sanskrit professor. So the students are not Telugu people, except 2 or 3 of them. Out of 15, rest of them lots of them are Europeans. So I have to give an example in other books. So that's why I gradually picked it up, because reading, when I read Kalidasa's Raghuamsham or this Abhignana Sakuntalam, you gradually pick them up.
Yes, that's the only way we can.
A lot of things is from 2002, I started writing papers and going to the conferences and publishing them. And they ask you lots of questions, participants. There are famous professors came from in India, Sanskrit professors. They ask you very difficult questions. Once I think I told you, I was explaining to them is the 2 legal papers. Does Rama has a right to the throne? And then I argued in front of the jury, and there was a bunch of people were put as a jury, and there was a judge. And I had to prove to them beyond reasonable doubt, Rama does not have a right to the throne according to Valmiki Ramayana.
This is in Sanskrit, sir? You debate in Sanskrit?
No, that's at that time I didn't know. That's 2002. I didn't know Sanskrit that much. I know basic alphabet. I read Ramayana in English translation at that time. From 2006, I stopped doing the English translation. Then I know the what wrong is in the English translation. Same thing with Mahabharata. So in the same word, Samanapade, when na is preceded by Refa or Sha, sorry, Refa or Sha. The Refa also, you know that I don't need to say that. It is Ru. And what will happen is then Nakara changes to Na. Sorry. That is the rule. And if I write that English understanding, it is sorry. About it. My goodness, I'm putting wrong thing. Rashabhyam no Ana Pati. No, sorry. What it says is Nakara changes to Natvam in the same word when Nakara follows either Refa or Shatvam. In the same word. And let's look at this word. If there is a word, like I gave an example, it is Rama plus Am, and it becomes Rama Nam. And when you see this word Rama Nam, this is the Sasti Bahuvachanam of Ramas. And when you see this, it is Rama Am. So where does this Na come from business? There is no Na in here. So Pandit looked at around, he said, the first step you have to do it here. He said it is Rama, and whenever the Pratipadikam Rama takes a pratyaya, Sasti Bahuvachana pratyaya Am, you add, it takes a Natsum. It's like a preposition. Like somebody is saying his name is Pandita so and so. It's not like a degree. It's like saying Padmasri so and so. Like this. Na will come here and it's Am. And it becomes Nam. Oh, sorry. Rama and Nam. Now, whenever the short vowel ending term Pratipadikam is followed by a long, followed by a nam. That's the exception. Nam, the short vowel. What is the ending of this Rama? Short a. That short a gets dirgha, elongated. So it becomes Rama, Nam. That is one word of Ramas. Now question comes, the nakara, in the word there is a refa. So there is a hetu or karanam for nakara to get a natvam. But the things we said was, in a same word, when na is preceded by, that means it has to be in contact. Here it is not in contact. It is preceded by it is. Oh, first thing it is Rama Nam, then when it Nam, it gets Dirgha, it is Rama Nam, then it becomes Rama Nam. And it should have been, Na is not in contact with Refa. It is preceded by long A, Makara, and a long A. So Panini gave bunch of exceptions. If in the same word, Na can change to Natvam, if it is preceded by, if there is a Refa or Kavarga letters or any vowel and any Pavarga letters. So that's why this Na is preceded by Longa, Makara, Longa, and Refa. Those are all allowed. So it becomes Ramanam. Now, what happens to here? Kavi plus Am. What happens here? What is the result of that?
Vinam.
Kavi,
Kavinam.
It's Kavi Nam or Kavi Nam?
Nam, sir.
Nam.
Nam.
Kavi, this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't it become a Natvam?
No, it's not preceded by the.
There is no Hetu or there is no Shakara or a Refa. Okay, what happens to here?
Pitru plus Pitru Nam Aryamas. Yes.
Okay.
Through now.
What happens here?
Pitru Na, sir. Na comes.
Na. Ana.
Because this Ru is in direct contact with Nakara. And Ru gets elongated. That's because that's a process the originally Panini observed. So it becomes Pitru Nam.
Yeah. So the
What
10th
about this?
chapter.
Veda?
We don't know the rules. We
don't know the rules, but
in Gita.
that's why I'm giving you the analysis like a scientist. In the book, it is explained, each rule is explained properly in English. So that way, you don't need to be lumbered with the whole Sanskrit explanation. If you take the next class, then we don't go any of this. We just get to the rule, and you have to understand how the rule came.
Sir, in the book, there is a Kavi plus Nam. So that says Kavi Nam and equal to Kavi Nam.
That's the typo.
Typo? Okay.
I thought I corrected, but please correct that. That's wrong.
Okay.
Because this cannot be Kavi Nam. This is wrong.
Because there is no Refa or Shah.
This is wrong.
It's like that, sir. Guru.
And now what will happen here? Now it is
Veda plus
Veda plus Am,
Vedanam.
Vedanam.
because I want you to go through the
Knowledge.
Shloka 21 to the end of the chapter of 10.
Yeah.
Vedanam Samavedosmi. I am Samaveda among Vedas.
Pitrunam Aryamachas.
Aryamat. So these things, you please go through that, and I'm going to give you an exercise of about 30 pages. There are something right, something wrong. Deliberately, I put wrong things there. So that you have to identify why they are wrong.
So it is
Now,
Vedanam, sir, right, sir? Vedanam.
does it get a Natta Murdhanya, or it is the Dantya?
Dantya.
Dantya. It is
Dantya.
Veda Nam. Because there is no Hetu, Karanam. What about this? Guru plus Am.
Guru Nam.
Nam.
Because there is a refer there.
Rukara.
Like this, if you give 100, then we'll remember.
Guru Nam.
Yeah, there are a lot of them in Gita.
I know, yeah.
So if this is what helps you. Suddenly, we are talking about it. Oh, that's what it says at 10:24. Now, exceptions. What happens here? And Panini found Raman. That is object of Rama in plural. This doesn't become
Nothing happens.
Raman.
I wrote in the book, nothing. It remains as it is.
Why? We have seen a lot of them like that. If it is a Padanta,
Mm.
it
Then
doesn't, na Padante. It doesn't happen at the end of the word.
interesting.
So he gives you what is observed. What we derived everything now here. And what are the exceptions? One exception is, it is the, if it is a Padanta, it doesn't work. It doesn't change. What happens here? Rama plus Ina. What happens here?
Ramayana.
Ramayana.
Rama plus Ina. Where is the other? Yeah, but
Ramena.
Ramena.
it is a Murdhanya or Dantya.
Murdanya.
That's the Tritiya Vibhakti of Rama Ekavachanam.
Oh. Rama plus Ayana, Ramayana.
Ayana.
Ayana. Okay.
That is, Ramayana means it is the travels of Rama.
Yes.
And
Ayana.
but then what is Narayana? Now I'm going to the Vaishnava thing. What is Narayana?
Nara plus Ayana.
Narasya Ayana, the travels of Nara. The ultimate end, Gati,
Destination.
is the abode of Vishnu. That is the meaning of Narayana.
Narayana means all the people's final destination. Is it the meaning?
No, of the human being.
Narasya Ayana.
Because it's really not Nara, all creatures, all creation
Yeah.
is finally, that is what we call Vaikuntha. And we just finished the 2nd January. Vaikuntha Ekadasi. So when you see this Rama plus Ina, suddenly you should get, it is not Ramena. It's not that. That's wrong. So first thing is Nakara changes to Natvam. In a same word, it has to be in the same word. It can't be two different words combined. Okay, Samana Pade, Na has to be preceded by Refa or Sha. But they could be separated by few things. Any vowel, any Kavarga, Pavarga, and couple of others. There is a rule. Panini put everything together at Kupwang. So, and I explained that in the book. So read that, please. Now, where are we now, time-wise?
5 minutes.
5 more minutes, sir.
Emma, ఎంత టైం అయింది ఉషా?
9
5 more
o'clock.
minutes and ఇంకా 5 minutes ఉంది, sir.
Okay, now I want you to, what I'm going to do is, following the same thing, changes of, changing, sorry. Changing of Sa to, sorry. Yeah. When does Sakara change to Shatvam?
Mm.
And what, and same thing, Panini observed in the real life with the words and concluded and went backwards and come out with a rule. He derived those rules. He did not blindly come out there. What happened was, during the last 26 centuries, people have forgotten that. I showed you that in the timeline. By the time 10th century came, we all become dumb, blindly following without scientifically analyzing it. And there is not much Sanskrit literature after the 12th century. The last known Sanskrit poet was this guy, Jayadeva, with his Ashtapadi. Beyond that, you don't see anything. What you see is commentaries. And the greatest commentator in Sanskrit, you know where he comes from? Andhra Pradesh, Rajahmundry. I talked to several people, gave the name of this. Do you know who this person is? No idea. And Sanskrit was there in our place, but most of it is dead now, essentially. People, nobody reads them. That's why I didn't read Sanskrit in the high school, because there were no jobs. But for us, what I'm telling you, it's very easy to study Sanskrit. So now, changing Sa to Shatvam. And remember, in the Sandhi, you are looking at two separate words. Here, first thing you have to understand, what are the conditions? Here, like this. And Rama plus Tya, it remains as Ramatya. This is Sashti Ekavachana of Rama. Now, if I do this, Ram me plus, sorry, Su. This becomes Rameshu. what is the difference between these two? Both are same, but this one becomes, sa becomes shakara, shatvam. In this is one word, samanapade. This is one word, samanapade. Here it doesn't become, here it becomes. So Panini took whole bunch of words, came up with a concept. Number one, first it has to be in the same word, samanapade. Sa changes to shatvam when it is preceded by a bunch of things. And he came to a conclusion. Here, sa did not change to shatvam because sa is preceded by a, short a.
Okay.
Here, what happens? Sa is preceded by what?
Yakara.
A.
Yeah.
Now, likewise, Sita plus Su. It people who are using Sita Su, because this is the stuff in use. So he can't change that. That's what people are using it. When you have water, we can only analyze and say H2O. You can't say, hey, I take the two elements of hydrogen and 2 elements of oxygen. Then you get a different thing. You get a hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, totally different. So you have to take, these are the real words people are using, and how do you go back and come out with a rule? Here, Sakara is preceded by long R. So he comes out with a rule, and if Sakara in the same word is preceded by any vowel other than short R or long R, if it is preceded by Kavarga, if it is preceded by Visarga, these are the things you have to look at the literature and come up with your own observations. Then come up with a rule. And I keep telling you, that's how scientific rules come through. We all did it in our high school or college or engineering or whatever you studied. But we forgot all of that, unfortunately. So if you apply that basic knowledge which you have in here, then learning grammar will become. Read the Gita or Ramayana, first 100 slokas, that will do. And you will see why it is. So there is a rule, and the book has, let me open up that thing where it is.
Page 107.
Yeah, but I'm trying to see why I can't see this in my. Something wrong in my. I opened it always, but.
Maybe you're not sharing that, you're just sharing only the Word document, I think.
No, not that. I have to first see on my screen.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm trying to look at this. Okay. Okay, let's see this one. Yeah, it is here. Part 1. Not that one, sorry. I opened wrong thing. That's the wrong one. And okay, now let me share that. Okay, you should be able to see this.
Yes, sir.
And, so this is what I was telling you on. 1 second, okay. I have to get rid of the other one.
We don't see the other one. We just see only the PDF.
Okay, now. So this I have to get rid of this. Okay. Now, if you look through here, this you see this, and let's go to. Everybody has this, and these are the tables I was telling you in the book. The vowel, the consonant, how it is organized. Now let's go to sandhis,
130.
and it should be 130. Example of Anuswara sandhis, not that one.
Still need to go further. 449, right?
Now I'm coming here. But this is what I was telling you. If you look at the list of it, how na changes to natvam, which you did it, change of sa to shatvam. And if you look at this,
Oh, 107, same page. Yeah.
you have so na to natvam, and then I think, let me see, I thought kavi nam, is it there still?
It's, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this is wrong.
yeah, that is.
Please change, correct it.
Correct it, sir. Yeah.
Then how the 449, how sa changes to shatvam, and sha has to come somehow. So I will explain this particular. You know what is the pratyaya now? Pratyaya is something that is added afterwards on the right side, and sa also can come as a replacement for some word, some letter in the word. That sakara is not suitable. It has to be a pratyaya. So when in the same word, that samana pade, sa will change to it has to be a pratyaya, and it is not a
Different letter.
substitute, and it changes to sha when we just look at it, when it is preceded by any vowel except a or long a. That is Sita plus su becomes Sita su. And any vowel doesn't matter except those two, or any guttural ka varga, refa, any visarga. So we still have to give, and we talk about Rama plus su, Rameshu, Kavi plus su, it is Kavishu, because it's preceded by E, which is not R. So whole bunch of them, but Gita plus su, it is Gita su.
Because of
So these are the things you have to understand, and there's whole bunch of notes on that. You read through this, but we'll go through this. What will happen, like the na will not change to natvam at the end of a pada. Same things. The sa will not change to sha at the end of a pada. Because I told you in the beginning, usable padas will rarely end with kavarga nasal, chavarga nasal. They will end generally with tavarga nasal nakara and natvam. They won't end with natvam, and they will end with makara. They can end like a ramam or vanam. But they will never, these three, kavarga nasal, chavarga nasal, and murdhanya nasal, that na, and that's all. Those three plus it can end with nakara, raman, or makara. And same thing, it doesn't end with shakara. And read through those, and next week I'll explain even more. Look at here.
Only padas you are saying, right?
In a word, it can be ended in dhatu, it can go in pratipadikam, because those are not usable ones.
Karna is not a
Innama?
karna.
Karna is akara. That's pratipadikam. It has to have a case ending vibhakti pratyaya at the end.
So
Karna,
pratipadikam.
Karna is like Rama.
Not a word.
So when it is used as in a word, because you said word must end with a case ending sup, or it must end in a verbal ending. Sup ting antam padam. A word, a pada must end with a word, with a case ending, vibhakti pratyaya, or it has to end with a verbal pratyaya. So that is, when it ends with a verbal pratyaya thing or case ending sup, that is called a padam. So if you put that sentence in Sanskritam, sup ting antam padam. And that's a rule, Parindi rule. So these rules are not complex. You understand them, translate on the physical thing, and then put them in Sanskritam. We did that with the vowel sandhis. How Savarnadirgha sandhi comes, how Guna sandhi comes. We did a reverse engineering. So that's what we have to do. And next week, I will go in detail about the sa changing to shatvam, and then do how the hard letter changes to soft letter, how soft letter changes to hard letter. And this, as I told you, the consonant sandhis and visarga sandhis, never ending job. Unlike vowel sandhis, we didn't derive every rule here, but we'll do as we go through the case endings or chapter 5, or deriving the verbs, and we'll use the sandhis, consonant sandhis. Then we'll explain each one of them in detail. So now I talked a lot one way, and let's stop for a few minutes and let's ask one by one. Madhavi, any questions, Amma?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And Krishna Garu, any questions, Sunday?
No, sir, I'm good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, now Badrinath.
No,
Any
sir.
question?
Practice, sir. That's where I think I'm kind of.
Practice nothing. As I told you, I keep on writing. Take a blank paper. When we print, one side is blank. We don't normally throw out. I don't throw out. There's a bunch of stuff here. I use
Okay.
still those one-sided one to write things. And who is else here? I think he's Venkat and Per Machpaina and Tamarisu.
Yeah. Like, hello,
Ah.
sir.
Any questions, Sandy?
No questions, and I missed the last class. We'll continue.
No, but we
Catch up.
repeated everything we did in
Yes.
last class.
Okay. Okay.
We did everything we did in last class with now more examples. Usha, any questions, Amma?
No, sir. Good, sir. Thank you.
Okay, now Balaji, any questions?
No, sir. I always had this sense that reading scriptures make it easier to learn Sanskrit. But it's glad that you confirmed today.
I found it, and when I first thing when I read the very first sloka of Rigveda, and that helped me a lot. Like it goes like this: Agnim ire purohitam yajnasya devam rutwijam hotaram ratnadhataram. And having bowed to Agni, we place that Agni in front of you. Purohitam, Purasita. It's not Purohita like what we use in villages or towns. Purohita is not that. It is in this meaning. Purohita is a word. The one who thinks good for a village or a town. That is Puraha. This is Puras is in front. Hita is placed. You place Agni in front of you. When you're doing any puja, you sit in front of you, you put Agni, then in front of Agni, you put Bhagwan's image or whatever it is. Then through Agni, you do all the homam or chanting things. And that's how that sloka says that way, and that has a lot of significance. Why that sloka became very popular? Number one, it is the not understood. It is it is the what is the Gayatri mantra? Not mantra, Gayatri
Chandas.
Chandas.
Meter.
Most of the Vedic literature or the Samhitas, Aranyakas, and Brahmanas and Upanishad, majority of them are Gayatri Chandas. And but Gita, Ramayana, most 90% of them are Anushtup Chandas. There are Trishtup Chandas in Gita. And of course, Bhagavatam is very tough. It's impossible to follow Bhagavatam. The very first sloka of Bhagavatam is very tough. Ramayana sloka is very easy. Mahabharata sloka is very easy. First sloka. Bhagavatam's first sloka is terrible, very difficult. You see that in your book invocation, first one page where I started with the Kalidasa sloka and Vagardhaviva Samprukta, Vagadha Pratipattaye, Jagata Pitarav Vande, Parvati Parameshwarav. That is the invocation before the table of contents. And then Mahabharata first sloka. Narayanam Namaskritya, Narancheva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Udirayet. I gave the sloka both in Devanagari as well as the transliteration in English. Then third sloka I gave you is the first one of Bhagavatam. And that's very tough. Look at it. Janma Jasya Yaton Vayadi Tarata Shardeshu Vigneswarat. That's only half of the first line. So that is so how tough it is. So read Gita, please. That's I can't emphasize more. So I'm taking 9:20. My goodness. Okay. But any questions? If people do not have any questions, I want to thank you. Sarvebhyo Namaha, and Agami Guruvasare Punar Milishyamaha. That means coming Guruvasara will meet again. That is what the Agami Guruvasare Punar again
Punar Vilamaha.
Milishyamaha.
Milishyama. Plural.
That is the future tense and the first person plural.
Plural.
అవశ్యం అనాలా సార్?
Yama?
ఏమనాలి సార్? తప్పకుండా అనడానికి అవశ్యమా?
Yeah, that's good. Or you can simply say Samyak.
Samyak.
That's okay. That's so. So let's leave now. Thank you. If you don't have any questions, you are always welcome. As you know, you can send me emails if you have a problem.
Okay.
Thank you,
But
sir.
read the book, please. There are a lot of examples are given there.
Yes, sir.
Sure, sir.
If you want,
Thank you,
I will send you all the 18 chapters of Gita with original slokas, Padacheda, and which shows you Sandhi. That's what I use in the examples as I use them.
Yeah, that would be very helpful, sir, for us, especially since we are chanting regularly every week.
Okay,
That would help us a lot.
good. I will send you that, and I'm using that in the teaching here, so I'm modifying them as I go through. So you may find a lot of garbage there. So ignore that and see. And by the time we finish this, if we see a picture, you should be able to make up slokas. We'll do that. Once we get to the 5th chapter and some verbs of 6th chapter, and I will ask you to make a sloka for your parents. You all know this Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. So you can say them Matru Devaya Vidmahi Pitru Devaya Dhimahi Tanno. You can make up your thing. It's not difficult. Once you get the vibhaktis, you can come out with your own what you call you can say, you can talk about you can put your father's name and come out with 100 praises for him, like Vishnu Sahasranama or Lalit Sahasranama. You can do that. You use your own thing. Use a lot of Telugu, but you can come out with a Sanskrit one. It's not that difficult. Okay, Dhanyavada. So I keep on talking if you leave it there.
Thank you, sir.
Please,
Thank you.
Shubhratri, sir.
Shubharatri.
Thank you.